If you think back over the last couple of years, it was here at E3 where people got a little taste of what Oculus might be. How far have things come over the last 2 years?
It's been an incredible ride. I mean, this is one of those journeys that luckily we get to participate in and a lot of people get to read about, and the community is really a big part of this as well. I mean, everybody got behind it, and launching on Kickstarter crowdfunding is something that you just couldn't do in the past, and it's something that we were able to take advantage of the internet and the technology today and get this shotgunned out there what felt like overnight, and it was somewhat overnight. I mean, within 24, 48 hours, $1 million of pledging had happened, thousands of people, and the company was off to the races, and it's been an awesome ride since.
Some people still fascinated by Facebook's interest in Oculus, and for those who don't know the backstory, you'd been swapping, I think, some messages with Mark Zuckerberg. You got him to come to headquarters, he tried out the technology, and he said what?
I want to help. How can I help? And when Mark wants to help, I mean, he's obviously a very powerful guy, and he's an incredibly smart guy, and he shared a lot of the vision that we had, and that's what really came together. Palmer Luckey, who's the founder, with myself, Nate, Mike, we all got together, and Mark Zuckerberg just shared the same vision. He wanted to see VR get into the hands of as many people as possible, and that's something that we started the company on. The foundation of Oculus was, how do we get VR into as many living rooms, many homes, many, hopefully, hands and eyes as possible.
And you were just saying to me that you got up to Facebook headquarters for the first time since the deal was announced recently?
Yeah, that was a pretty wild way to do a deal. It was definitely the best experience I've had. This is my third company and getting acquired. They did the deal on a handshake to a signing of the agreement within a week, really within about 4 days or so. We didn't sleep much. We kind of camped out at HQ, so it was interesting going back and having the memories of the all-nighters to get this deal done. But it showed the passion. It was incredibly fun to get that done.
Now, we're at a big gaming event. You have a gaming background. Certainly, Oculus has these strong ties to the future of gaming. And yet, in your positioning of what Oculus could be, especially as part of Facebook, you've talked a lot about communication, almost the evolution of things like FaceTime and Skype. So how are you balancing the time, the energy, the focus of the Oculus team, which you told me is growing quickly? You're hiring a lot of people. Is it 50% focused on gaming, 50% focused on everything else? Even at Bloomberg, we're thinking about the future of this technology and what it could mean for us.
I saw that. It looked pretty cool. We're really game developers at heart. The team is largely based on game developer talent. So we have John Carmack, we have Michael Abrash, the guys that brought us Quake 1 and 3D graphics, really helped pioneer 3D in the beginning. They're now back together, working on VR. We have a lot of the biggest names in the industry, kind of these legendary engineers and top talents have come together. That industry being the game market. So we're really focused on the game market. And a lot of people think, oh, well, it's going to go into communications and these other areas, and now Oculus is part of, Facebook, and they're going to not be focusing on gaming as much. And that's really not true. We're focusing on gaming. That's our top priority, and the foundation of VR is built on a game engine. It's built on a 3D scene that you have to render in real time at an incredible high frame rate, which is what game developers do best.
Well, to that point, Sony has its own technology, this Project Morpheus that it's focusing on here at E3. Have you tried the Sony technology?
I actually haven't yet, but I'm hoping to here at the show. It's been super busy, and a lot of the guys at the show have gotten a chance to try it, and there's positive feedback. We're really happy to see other companies, especially big companies, getting into VR. I mean, this just validates that the whole industry is going to be a very big deal very fast.
But they'll be a competitor of yours? Is that how you foresee that playing out?
We don't really look at them as a competitor. In fact, I would say we have a closer relationship to Sony than just about any other company, with them being in the VR space also, and us all kind of evangelizing and trying to create the VR industry together. They're a company that's very focused on their console. We're a company that's very focused on VR. So I think the unique side of Oculus is that we're now well over 100 people. Some of the smartest, best engineers in the industry have all joined with a single focus: VR. VR core tech, core platform, as well as first-party content. We just announced Jason Rubin, who's the founder of Naughty Dog, brought us a lot of those great console games in the early days, is now going to be running studios, and we're going to be developing our own first-party VR games.
Before we go, right now we think of that headset experience. Give us the timeline, the time frame of being able to pull out, as you've said before, sunglasses and experiencing this technology. What's the pricing of this? Is this something that Facebook might just give away to users because they want them to be enjoying the experience and that's where the upside lies? Tell us what's going to happen over the next couple of years.
So we don't completely know. We don't have a crystal ball and everything. It's moved a lot faster than we thought. We got into it with a duct tape kind of hot glue gun prototype, and in less than 2 years now, we're at a developer kit, the second developer kit, which is getting really close to that kind of consumer experience. Internally at Oculus, we do have the consumer prototype, and we have a consumer prototype that's now significantly less weight, so it weighs almost nothing. You barely feel this on your head. You can look around. That was a big challenge, obviously, getting the weight down. It has a lot of core technology in it where you can do 6 degree of freedom tracking, so it's very comfortable. The prototype, I think we've had hundreds of people, maybe 400 or 500 people in, and a handful of people have complained about any kind of disorientation. So that kind of elephant in the room, well, what about motion sickness, is behind us. And we're now really focusing on what are going to be the great experiences. What's going to be the magical content in VR that brings it to life and attracts, millions, tens of millions, hopefully in the future, like you said, hundreds of millions of people with sunglasses. I think that's something that we got together on the vision with Mark. Really looking at how to get to 1 billion people in VR. A lot of it's going to be centered around gaming, huge focus on gaming, but ultimately it is going to bring this next generation, kind of final generation of face-to-face communication. You're going to be able to sit here and have this kind of conversation with each other, believe you're right in front of me and I'm right in front of you, but I could put my hand through you and you're not. And that face-to-face communication is going to be a kind of longer horizon driver of definitely how this gets out to hopefully 1 billion plus people.